Yeah, November 23rd, 2025, 19 days after doubling up my daily DHEA from 25 milligrams to 50 milligrams, and 7 days after adding an additional 25 milligrams DHEA every time after I'm doing sports, I finally felt I have enough energy at the beach. Finally. Here's the video, bodyboarding while chronically ill in Australia, where I complain a lot about not having enough energy, about being just pooped out after just one wave. We were staying in Tea Gardens, Australia from October 30th, 2025 until January 28th, 2026. I didn't get any better on the board on November 23rd, but it was the first day where I had much more energy. I got tumbled by a wave, and after I got my board back, I just walked towards the beach, kept walking along the beach while catching my breath a bit, and I went back into the water to continue. After kinda riding a wave, I just went back out there. I didn't need to get out of the water and get some rest anymore after just one wave. Paul said I was an hour out there. I don't think so. I really don't think so. But it was for sure much longer than all the previous times I went out there. I was so happy. It was the first time for a very long time I felt like I'm getting more healthy again. From that day on, I could stay in the ocean much longer. I had more energy to ride multiple waves, and I could go to the beach to bodyboard many days in a row. But yes, I still struggled with some not enough energy. But hey, compared to before, it was a big difference. It was awesome. I kind of want to say I was so overjoyed and happy that as soon as we arrived at the beach, I just grabbed my board and ran into the ocean. But no. Even with 33 degrees Celsius, 91.4 Fahrenheit outside, and lots of sun, it always took me so long to be able to get into the water. It takes me so long to get actually hot enough to have to go into the ocean to cool off. And of course I wasn't patient enough, and I didn't want to wait long enough until on the beach just laying there until I was sweaty enough, until I was hot enough to just go into the water to cool off. And as soon as it was just a little breeze, I already cooled off. So I actually never got hot enough to feel like, oh, I have to get into the water to cool off. So every time I went into the water, it was just so brutal for me. Even at 22 to 24 degrees Celsius water temperature, 71.6 to 75.2 Fahrenheit, the water temperature of the ocean, it felt so cold to me. So it was always so brutal for me to get in there, as I mentioned. Once I was in there, I was fine. Oh, I remember in Bern, Switzerland, where I grew up, there is the river Ade, and people go in there to swim. It's really fun. So once the water hit 15 degrees Celsius, 59 degrees Fahrenheit, I was in there. And well, yeah, it was fucking cold, but I don't think it took me that long to get in there. Anyways, I had so much fun bodyboarding, and I felt every day I was getting a bit better. I didn't even realize that I got bruised, probably from the board. It's so hard to catch a wave perfectly and then also get a perfect wave. Lots of times I was too late. I was too far out, paddled too slowly and missed the wave. Or I was too early. I was not far out enough and the wave broke way before it got to me. And actually, when I got tired and I saw a wave coming at me, and I was like, I'm way too slow, it's gonna like hammer me or whatever, or I don't wanna fight to get through it. I just was like, fuck it, and I turned my board and just laid on the board and waited until a wave pushed me. What I usually did at the beginning, I tried to get really far out, well, just past all the waves and then catch the bigger waves. But with bigger waves, I'm still talking about just 1 to 1.5 meters, 3.5 to 5 feet waves. So still small waves, yes. But to me, those were the bigger waves, and they were perfect for me. Anyway, so at the beginning, I tried to catch those first, and then when I got more tired, I didn't go out there all the way and just try to get some little ones and just working on some skills or so. Here's the video where I caught a wave perfectly for the first time, but it was a little wave that collapsed basically all at once. Totally fine for just low-key bodyboarding, but those waves are not good for surfing. Yeah, it was so hard to get a perfect wave perfectly. Most waves didn't break perfectly, and being at the perfect spot when there is one that breaks perfectly, it's so fucking hard. Here is a video where I could steer for the very first time. And here's the video where I swallowed a shit ton of water. It got so splashed into my throat, you can actually see in the video how I'm spitting out water. I coughed and coughed like crazy afterwards on the beach. I felt like throwing up because the salt water irritated so much back in the throat. I told Paul to bring me drinking water, so to drink drinking water helped. And after I recovered, I just went back out there. I was and still am so happy that while we were in Phnom, Thailand, we ordered swimwear from Lazada. Here's the video about making friends in Phnom, Thailand. So for bodyboarding, I was wearing underwear we got from Phnom as well, from the local market there, and they were actually kids' underwear, so that was perfect. But so I mean, they fit me, but they were pretty tight, so that was perfect for bodyboarding. Then I put the size large shorts over them. When I'm dry, they're way too tight and they hurt a bit, but when I was wet, they were perfect. But the shirt I was wearing was a size extra large. The size large was way too tight. Oh, and then underneath that swimwear shirt, I was just wearing a workout top. I was so happy I wasn't wearing a bikini to bodyboard, but still, the ocean is always able to undress you, including me. And of course, I also managed to injure myself a little bit. Nothing bad, just minor stuff. So I got some bruises or getting my knees a bit roughed up from the sand, getting like pushed into the sand. Oh, and the board hit me on the head multiple times. I'm glad it was just a bodyboard that wasn't really that hard, but it still could hurt quite a lot. But I was imagining like a surfboard that's so much bigger and like harder. Oh my gosh, no. But then I also managed to strain my back. Luckily, not very badly, but it still hurt for about 3 days. So I took 3 days off so I wouldn't make it any worse. Yeah, age has its positives. From so many injuries from the gym or at pole fitness or doing martial arts, I finally learned my lesson. So when I have a minor injury, I don't have to make it at least 2 more times worse before I take some time off and actually tend to my injuries. No, now 1 time is enough and I already take care of my injury. Unfortunately, of course, being chronically ill means there will be phases where you're sick. I had hormonal problems for over a week. It started about 2 days before Christmas. I wasn't able to go bodyboarding for 2 weeks, but I was actually lucky. During those weeks, there were maybe 2 nice days. Otherwise, it was windy and much cooler than usual and even raining. Thank you, God. If I have to be sick, that you let me be sick while the conditions weren't really good anyways. Thank you very much for that. Really appreciate it. So after about 2 weeks, on Monday, January 5th, 2026, we finally went back to the beach. We went to the beach access where the golf course is. In November, we went to Hawk's Nest where the lifeguard volunteers are. But in November, they were only there on weekends, I think from 10 a.m. to 2 or 4 p.m. During high season, they were there every day, I think from 10 a.m. to 4 p.m. Our hosts told us that on December 15th, high season begins, and there will be 3 times as many people in Tea Gardens and Hawk's Nest. We were worried that it would be like in Costa Mesa, California during peak seasons, or in Italy somewhere on the beach. Like the beach totally crowded, full of people, but no way at all, not even close to that. Yes, we could see definitely more cars and more people at the beach, but it was nothing compared to other places in the world. So during high season, we just never went to the beach where the lifeguard volunteers were. You could see it from the place we were going to, that where the lifeguard volunteers were, there were so many more people. Saturday, January 10th, 2026, high season, and a Saturday, definitely many more people. That's where the voluntary lifeguard is, Hawk's Nest. So yeah, this is how it looks high season. And here definitely more people. But hey, nothing compared to other places in the world when it's high season. And no, it wasn't dangerous at all without the lifeguard volunteers around. The waves weren't very big at all. But yes, of course, there's always something that can happen in the ocean, even with very, very little waves or basically no waves. There's always something bad that can happen. But Paul grew up on the beach, lived with lifeguards together, and if he didn't have a job during the summers, he would have become a lifeguard as well. So when I was in the water, he had his eyes on me basically constantly. He was also looking out for white sharks. Yes, Bennetts Beach has lots of white sharks, but we never saw one, and there was never a shark warning while we were there. Anyways, back to January 5th, 2026, I had problems walking the short walk to the beach. I wasn't just able to go bodyboarding for 2 weeks, I was also barely able to walk. So this was really hard for me just to walk from the car to the beach. So I got very weak during that time, but I went into the water on the 5th and wow, for the first time I was able to experience no shore breakers. So far, every time we went to the beach, the waves broke on shore, and that really, really sucks. You couldn't ride those, and they fucking hurt. And yes, here in Mainland Thailand, where I am right now, it started raining, and you probably hear it in the background, sorry. So back to shore breakers. So when a wave forms, there's barely any water underneath it, and it just slams you on the sand, on the ground, and it fucking hurts. I hate those. And even when you stay on the board, it's just harsh. On the 5th, there were beach breakers. Yeah, it was so much easier, so much smoother. Wow, that's how it feels like. So different, so cool, so nice, so much easier. Well, except for the wave that broke on top of me and slammed the left side of my face into the sand. That one wasn't smooth at all. And it actually quite hurt. At my left side, like here, I remember like here, it was kind of numb for a while. But it was okay. I went back into the water and tried to catch some more waves. But yeah, it did hurt a bit. And also my neck. Yeah, why does it always have to get into your neck? Like the bodyboarding, my neck really hurts. Yeah, that really sucks. But what was much worse was that I got water stuck in my ear. Well, not just in my ear, more likely in I think you call it eustachian tube. I don't know. Well, the tube in there in your ear. Nothing I tried helped to get it out, the water. It didn't hurt, no, but it was so fucking annoying. 2 days later, it was even worse. Again, no pain, and it wasn't making any like bubbling or pulsating sounds anymore like before. But it made a sound like someone was rubbing their fingers on rubber next to my ear. It was like so fucking annoying. I read if there's really water in the eustachian tube, or however you pronounce it, it could take 3 months to, I don't know how long, to get it out or evaporate or whatever. Fuck. So Paul got an idea that he could put pressure on it. As much as I fucking hate it, I asked him to please try to do that because it was so fucking annoying. It drove me crazy. So he put his lips tightly on my ear and he pushed air twice into my ear. Oh, I fucking hated it. But holy shit, it helped. It wasn't 100% good yet, but 100 times better than before. So I was so relieved. After about 3 weeks, it was finally completely gone. It took a long time. It was very annoying. Oh, one day I was pretty sure I saw a jellyfish, but I think a dead one because it was alone. I think usually jellyfish, they come in groups and like, yeah, multiple ones are together. But yeah, we tried to film it, but we couldn't because the tide was coming in and my fins were just somewhere in the sand and the water caught my fins, so I had to get after my fins. Oh, and one time we went back to the beach and the water was basically flat, so basically no waves. So there was like, oh no, it's not worth it to go into the water. But we saw in the distance 2 dolphins. It was really hard to catch them on camera, but I still could catch them. But so yeah, we saw 2 dolphins. That was pretty neat. Oh, here, I just had it.
Wait a minute, no, you know what? Those might be dolphins.
I see it.
They're surfacing like dolphins. But if they're here, that means that the water is bad out there, which means the sharks are here. There they are. Yeah, no, they're porpoising like they're either porpoises or, but the fin's wrong. Maybe it's maybe they're porpoises. I don't know. Sharks don't porpoise like that.
They're going away now.
Yeah. Yeah, good eye, you caught that.
I love the ocean. I really hope another time during our nomad life I will get more opportunities to do some bodyboarding. Actually, I would prefer to learn how to surf, real surfing, but I still suck so much at bodyboarding, and surfing uses a lot more skills, a lot more energy, and I'm still chronically ill. I'm still not stable. I feel like for that I have to get much more healthy and much more stable. Stay happy, stay healthy, stay positive.